So the Cardano Foundation announced how, in partnership with Toto Finance, so it's not even Toto the toilet brand, it's a different one. But again, in partnership with them, they are excited to be accepted into the energy tokenization sandbox, which is actually run by Lava, or should I say the Lava network, and something called Electric Blue. Now, why could this matter? It's because it actually has an aspect of RWAs, or should I say real world assets. And I think this could maybe impact Cardano in a pretty profound way moving forward. And I'll give my thoughts and rationale, even though this video isn't even really about the price of ADA, which is Cardano's native token anyways, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. But I first want to clarify that nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, and this is just my personal perspective. But again, nonetheless, I'll first talk about this partnership, because let's think about this. If we think about Cardano as a layer 1 blockchain, we don't typically think about it as something that has an aspect of RWAs, right? People usually just think about it like, it's just another boring layer 1 blockchain. But a partnership like this is really going to amplify Cardano's presence within that space, which I think is an awesome thing, because as of right now, when it comes to the space, when people think about RWAs, what do they think about? They think about Stellar, they think about Ondo, they think about all these projects, but they don't really think about Cardano. But now, through a partnership like this, it's going to slowly but surely build upon that, I guess, presence in the RWA space when it comes to Cardano. So I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's a positive step in the right direction, especially in 2026, when the market isn't doing the best, when ADA is still at around 16 cents. You know what? The Cardano Foundation is like, we could care less about all that. We're going to continue to develop. So I thought it was pretty cool. Now, people may be wondering, okay, what are RWAs anyways? Like, what are real world assets? Now, to just give an example, I'm just going to use RWA tokens to kind of showcase what I'm talking about, right? So let's say we take a look at RWA tokens. They're digital representations of physical assets on the blockchain. So for instance, it could be used for like real estate or something like that, or maybe even art. There's many options, or many possibilities, I should say, but those are just some of the examples. However, nonetheless, projects like Stellar, for instance, they're already quite known for that. But again, the Cardano Foundation, slowly but surely, they're building upon that in terms of the recognition of Cardano being known as this place that could actually handle RWA adoption. Let's just think about this. As of right now, people care so much about AI, which I understand. But at the same time, sometimes people ignore the RWA narrative, because if that narrative were to come later, if the market were to take off, sure, Stellar, it's waiting right there. But if Cardano is also waiting right there, if it's known for RWAs, it can also receive that hypothetical wave, or should I say attention, later. Also, let's think about this. This, I think, is somewhat breaking the mold when it comes to Cardano, because now I think more and more people are starting to realize that Cardano isn't necessarily this quote-unquote boring layer 1 blockchain. In a sense, where not too long ago, right, we saw a partnership with the Brazilian Olympic Committee when it comes to Cardano, and that had an aspect of AI. So of course, that is strengthening Cardano's presence within that AI space. And then now it's also strengthening its sort of presence within the RWA space. So again, when it comes to Cardano, they're having these multiple pathways as of right now. So it's not a one-trick pony. And I think all of this right here is beginning to kind of showcase the true capabilities of something like Cardano, in which case it isn't just some random boring layer 1 blockchain. It could actually have a real impact in real life, it seems like. I think that oftentimes when people take a look at Cardano, they think about it like a pair of Skechers, like, the shoes. And I mean this in actually a very amazing way, because when I talk to some people out there, they may not necessarily find Skechers to be the coolest shoes out there, or the coolest brand, I should say. However, a lot of my friends out there who are police officers, nurses, chefs, sous chefs, and also even doctors and whatnot, they are sometimes people who really love and use Skechers. The thing is this, it may not be cool, hypothetically, some people may arguably say, but it sometimes works, at least based off what some of my friends say. So when it comes to Cardano, I get it. It's kind of viewed as the Skechers of layer 1 blockchains, I suppose. But now it's kind of spreading its wings a little bit. And it's now kind of showcasing what it's truly capable of. And it's very surprising that it's happening in 2026, because we recently saw the Van Rossum hard fork happen. And again, that was in 2026. at a time when people usually wouldn't expect Cardano to be having these somewhat improvements happen to it, right? We wouldn't associate that, hey, you know what, ADA being at around 16 cents, basically levels that was seen even back in, what was that, 2017, so almost a decade ago. People are like, okay, this is game over, right? But when it comes to the Cardano Foundation, they're like, hold up, we're not done, which is very surprising. So again, this is what's going on when it comes to ADA. Yes, it's pretty much at levels that was seen almost a decade ago, back in 2017. But in terms of the fundamentals, it's at least multiple times better than back then. That's the way to take a look at it. And just like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, this is nothing new when it comes to Cardano. It's not like this is the first time ever it's experienced a market downturn. No, sir. It's been through many market downturns. Okay, let's take a look at this, right? In 2017, ADA was pretty low. Then 2018 had a very good rally, went to around, what was that? $1. Then it went down, and it went down for quite a while. In 2018, when it was down, it had to wait up until 2021 to really see something massive. And, in 2021, they did see it. It went to around $3. Here's the thing. Keep in mind, from 2018 to 2020 and 2021 and whatnot, when they were waiting, they kept on building. They've navigated through these waters before. They've been through market downturns before. And then when 2022 happened and, things started going down again, they kept on building. And then guess what happened? In 2024, ADA went to over $1 again. Now we're down. So, this is nothing new when it comes to Cardano. They've seen this many times before. This is nothing new. You know what I mean? It's like asking LeBron James if he can defend against a three-pointer. Well, of course he can. He's been playing basketball for so long. He knows what to do, right? So it's no different here, in my opinion, when it comes to Cardano. I think historically, from what I can see, it seems like the Cardano Foundation understands that they just have to keep on building and just making it through. Because the market conditions, how can they affect that? Take a look at, for instance, the CEO of the Cardano Foundation, Frederick. Do you think he's going to be able to affect the price charts? Absolutely not. How can he do that? What is he going to do? Randomly wave some magic wand and demand ADA to do this or do that, or demand Bitcoin to do whatever, or Ethereum or whatnot? No, he can't do that. So yes, yeah, we're around 16 cents. The journey back to $1 is around 6 times, which, we saw $1 pretty much last year. So it wasn't even such a tough task anyways. I'm just saying that's how low ADA is. However, I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward. So I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very wonderful, amazing, and fantastic day. It's been Lee the Captain, and I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it.